The ridiculousness of this first season in the Championship continues. We're just about to hit the halfway point of the season and we're still only 5 points off the top of the league. Hello and welcome to part 86 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two home games in the Championship, home against Rotherham and Sunderland. Since you were last with me, although there's a couple of defeats in there, still largely good form. Plenty of wins, plenty of goals, and we've got the top scorer in the Championship in the shape of Matondo, who has now got 13 goals for the season. Anthony Harris not too far behind on 11 goals for the season as well. So between the two of them, our strike partnership, bearing in mind Matondo didn't even play in every game in that run because Mick Powell had 4 or 5 games where he was starting while Matondo was injured. But our strike partnership is scoring at more than a goal a game in the first half of the season, which is why we find ourselves in 4th place on after 22 games, 40 points on the board already. We could look up at the gap. I think I just did in the intro, but more importantly, I'm looking at that number thinking anytime now we're going to hit 50 points and we can all exhale, breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that we're going to be safe in the Championship for another season. But to do that, we have to keep winning games and hopefully we'll win a couple more today. So this is a team we're putting out there for the game against Rotherham. We do have a little bit of an injury crisis when it comes to the left-back position. If we just have a look at the left-back situation, Wearmouth injured, Palyuk injured, and we don't really have anyone else who can play there, which is a bit of a problem. So today, Rogers plays there, which allows Connor to come into the team, who we brought in just after we fiddled the scouting budget and I wanted an extra defender. He's not really had an opportunity to play yet, so we're going to have a look at him playing today. So it's Humphreys in goal, a back four of Rogers, Wright, Connor and Gregson, with Harrison as the holding midfielder, Fernandez and Sawinski ahead of him, Moss in behind Matondo and Harris. It's going to be interesting to see how not playing a natural left-back affects our very attacking tendencies down the flanks from our fullbacks. Because Rogers is absolutely not an attacking wing-back. He's not a winger. He's not going to be as threatening going forward as Wearmouth is. But can he do the job for us? Or is he just going to find himself playing on the left-hand side of midfield and getting exposed and not really doing anything good going forward either? Right, go out there, play your natural game. I like the idea of that, although worryingly, Rogers is happy about it. Oh, he told me I'm playing attacking wing-back today. I knew he was joking, because in the team talk, he said, play my natural game, which obviously isn't being a winger. But yeah, I mean, everyone but you, Mr. Rogers, you're still going to have to play Wearmouth's natural game of being very, very attacking on the left-hand side. I want to see him in an attacking position, see what he comes up with. But first, we get a corner. It's Harrison to take and falls to Lerick Fernandez eventually, plays it back out to Harrison again. Harrison plays it back to Connor, who isn't really the man we want to see in that position, but we're working it through nicely anyway. And Matondo's taken up the Wearmouth role on the left wing. Falls to Fernandez, and Lerick Fernandez with his second goal of the season makes it home 1, Rotherham 0 after 17 minutes. And as it stands, puts us up into the automatic promotion spots to the Premier League at the halfway point of the season, which is absurd. Obviously a long way to go in this game, and we have a whole second half of the season to go as well. I still refuse to acknowledge there's any kind of promotion push going on here. We're just trying to accumulate points. The goal for the season is still to avoid relegation. When the board come to me, if we, with the halfway through the season, are you still happy with your season goals? If we've not hit 50 points, I'm still saying to them, battle bravely against relegation, because I know just how quickly form can turn around in Football Manager, especially in promotion seasons like this, where you take the momentum into a good run early on, and it only takes a couple of bad results, and motivation, morale starts to go. You may be losing a key player to injury, and all of a sudden you've lost 8 games in a row when you don't really understand how and why. And if we lost our next 8 games, then yes, we're still on 41 points, but we're suddenly on 41 points after 31 games, and thinking, how do we turn this around? This isn't looking good. So yeah, we want 50 points before I change any expectations Right, we've been a better team here. Keep doing what you're doing and we'll be fine. I concur with that wholeheartedly. Let's we want to see more of Rodgers on this left-hand side in the second half. I suspect that's probably not something we're going to see, because I don't think any of our attacks are coming down the left-hand side today, because we don't really have a left-hand side today. I don't know why my nose is so itchy. If you're watching my face rather than the game, firstly, that's weird. Secondly, I'm not picking my nose. The end of my nose is really itchy, and I don't know why. And it's really annoying me. Right, Matondo flicks on, aiming for Harris to chase. But the flick on was a little bit too firm, so he's not able to chase it down. And I just noticed we've fallen back down to third in the league, which is devastating news. Only third in the Championship. Gee, what are we going to do? Rotherham are coming out again. I don't know how good Rotherham are, but they seem to be a decent side, which is a bit of a worry, because I don't think they're particularly high up the league. They're down in 13th place, so they're a team that at the start of the season you'd have expected us to lose to, but based on first half of the season form, you'd expect us to be able to beat. Here is flying wing-back Rodgers. Beautiful pass over the top to Harris, and I thought Rodgers was going to pick up an assist, which would be possibly the weirdest thing about the first half of this season. Never mind league results. The fact we've got 2,000 home fans in the ground today, which is also weird. But if Rodgers gets an assist whilst playing as wing-back, then I don't understand football at all anymore. Let's face it, I don't really understand football anyway. And now we're 2-1 down, and it feels like normal service is resuming, because not only have we not really created very much, we're struggling to actually get into the game at all. Rotherham, this is the first time this season we've looked like we're really struggling in a game. We're not creating chances. And I think it probably is the impact of not having Wearmouth charging up and down that left-hand side. I think he's been a crucial player for us. But without the wing-backs, we are not the same team. Bring Mick Powell on to see if he can magic something up for us. I don't know. Do I stick Lerick Fernandez at left-back? To try and get... I mean, he can play left-hand side of midfield. I know he's not going to offer us anything defensively, but he will offer the attacking option that we're not getting from Rodgers. I'm tempted to do that, because we've got McCormick who can come on in midfield. I don't think we've got anything to lose by doing that. So if we do that... Oh, no, not that. That. Fernandez is probably wondering what on earth is going on. But it's more important that we get the width and get to attack than defending's for nerds. Our only good player in the whole of the match so far is having to play left back now. Yikes. I'm going to bring Furlong on from us and see if he can make any difference to the game for us. Oh, they're attacking again. We've been really poor today. Right, here is Furlong. If we can grab an equaliser, I'll consider that a job well done. Tries to play it forward to Matondo, doesn't quite get there, but here's Fernandez. This is what we needed, an attacking player. Beautiful cross. It wasn't that good, but Sawinski picked it up. It's more than Rodgers was doing, and it has directly led to the equaliser. Philip Harrison, first goal ever for home, and it's an absolute beauty. And we need the width from the wide players. We can't do it without attacking wing-backs. I think I'm seeing the impact that's made suggests we probably have stumbled across some kind of exploit. Our wing-backs super strong again in FM19 all of a sudden, because we've been using wing-backs in this way all the way through this save, and they've never been as overpowered as they seem to be this season. Lerick Fernandez, self-assured as a left-back. Perhaps this is his future. Perhaps he looks at that midfield, sees Alex Carmichael coming through. I think perhaps my future is at left back. Right, that wasn't good enough. We should have won the match. And hopefully we will win the next match. I don't know if Wearmouth is going to be fit in time, but it looks like we've got more than a week's gap. So hopefully we will have a left back to play in the next match. When is the next match? Why is there such a big gap? Boxing Day, that's why. Oh, because next Saturday's Christmas Day, and I'm moaning about why we're not playing, because I'm an unreasonable monster. Couple of changes for the Sunderland game then. Wearmouth is fit enough to come back in at left back, so Rodgers moves across back into the middle with Connor dropping back down to the bench. And also a rare start for Shane Phillips, because what's his face, Harrison, needed a week's holiday because he's only got little legs because he's only 18. So we sent him on a little week's holiday. Well, actually, we couldn't send him on holiday because he's only here on loan, and it seems you couldn't send loan players on holiday. So we've just given him a week off of training, and we're not going to play him in this match either. We don't want to break him, and we've got a midfielder who's just as good as him in the shape of Phillips, who might be able to stake a claim for a starting spot if he plays well today. So we want to get back to winning ways against Sunderland. A victory here gets us one step closer to safety, which is what it's still all about. They've still got a team that's almost entirely real players. That suggests at this point of the save that this is a bunch of old men, because we're how many years into the future? Right, let's have a look. What do we want to do? Our form is awful as well. All the best. No, we could move into... Yeah, that one. Let's assertively go and move into an automatic promotion spot today. What year is it? 2027. So, okay, they're potentially not that old. Although none of them look like they were 14 in the pictures that were taken there. So they probably are all still quite old. But we are a bunch of regenerated players, or newly generated players, because we don't like old men around these parts. Apart from me. I'm the main old man around here. In Kev's garage news, because that's what you're really here for, my heater's broken, so I'm really quite cold. This is the second video I've recorded back to back with my jacket on, and it is about 2 degrees outside. I thought it was supposed to be spring now. I would like the weather to warm up, please, or else I'm going to have to buy a new heater. And I was hoping I wouldn't have to buy a new one until winter. But apparently the weather decided to get cold again, and now Sunderland are punishing me as well. I'm too cold to think straight, too cold to make the right tactical decisions, and now we're losing as well. This is rubbish. Just rubbish. I need warmth. I've got a fan on my desk. What uses a fan in this cold temperature? It's ridiculous. I might have to go and fetch a blanket. I'm 36 years old. I can't use a blanket. Goodness me. Right. We need to get back into this game. I think 10 minutes of passion are called for just before half time, as we try and find... that's not the R. McNally we used to have, is it, on their bench? It can't be. We had him in like season 1. Humphreys makes a good save, but then lets it go back into the path of their forward again, and we're now 2-0 down. This episode is starting to feel a little bit more... I don't want to see it. A little bit more like what we were expecting from this season. Maybe the free fall has begun now. We've fallen out of the playoff spots, which is fine. We don't need to be in the playoff spots, but it is a bit of a worry that it's the fact we're playing so poorly is the real problem. 3 shots, none on target. We're creating nothing. We've got no attacking oomph. I don't really understand it, because we've scored so many goals this season. We're probably the top scoring team in the league, I would guess. We'll have a look in a second. But our goal difference is one of the best in the league, and we concede a lot of goals too. So I would suggest we're probably top scorers in the whole division. We just haven't looked like it today. I mean, we've got Matondo and Harris, who've been scoring for fun all season, but they both seem to have just stopped today, which is very sad. Make a double substitution here. I'm going to stick Sawinski in there. So Sawinski in behind Matondo and Powell now, as we try and passion our way into a couple of late goals. But it's feeling distinctly unlikely, as we're getting a decent amount of possession, but generating absolutely nothing in the way of chances. I think we've reached that point that you get to where we've been figured out. I want to get Alex Carmichael on, see if he can come on and make a difference. Because what we don't want to do is have him recalled by QPR again. We want him to stick around for the second half of the season, because he's just on the cusp of breaking into the team finally. So it's the last thing we want to do is lose him again. But we barely played him last year and lost him at Christmas, and I suggest we're probably going to do the same this year, because we've not played him much more than we played him last year. That was just an example of us not being good enough, and now we're away from home and it's top of the table Villa. I think this is the start of the spiral, everybody. We've all been here before. We know how this works. 1 win in 5 games. it's begun. The rest of this season is going to be, it's going to be upsetting in a lot of ways, I think. But we are going to try and get through we're going to get to the end of the transfer window, I think. See if we can survive the transfer window without losing any players this time around. We're not in the market for bringing anyone in because we've got no money. But we'll try and get as far as the Charlton and Norwich games, which are just the other side of the transfer window. And I predict we'll be in about 14th place in the league by then. Because I think we'll lose every single game between now and then. Because, like I say, I've been down this road before. I know what the shape of a promotion season looks like, or the season after a promotion season, and it's taking that shape. I need a plan. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.